Oh my God, we're going to learn so much. Perfect question. Can't wait to jump into it. We're going to talk about paradox and how important it is for you to understand so that you can heal and grow. My name is Trish. I'm a trauma-informed life coach, and I help people transform their lives through the practice of authenticity. Let's define paradox first, okay? Paradox means when two things that are conflicting are true at the same time. There's many examples of this. I'm going to use some basic ones, and I'm going to use some polarizing ones so we can really start to create a framework for this conversation. Reminder, two things that are in conflict are true at the same time. Let's start with basic examples. First basic example is school, right? In the traditional education model. Traditional education model is effective at teaching people how to read and write, which is essential, while at the same time, it limits people from being able to understand who they are on a deep level. It's a contradiction. Traditional education systems are not built around people understanding themselves, but they are essential to help people learn how to communicate, read, write, all the fundamentals. Okay, pretty digestible. A human example of paradox, and this is getting a little saucier, is Robin Williams, probably one of the funnest comedians of all time, who died in a very, very tragic way. Both things are true at the same time. He was a gifted actor and comedian, and he died very tragically. A sort of polarizing and more controversial definition of paradox is probably the Catholic Church, which is a place where people traditionally would go for seeking spiritual guidance and connection to God, and other really dark, sinister things happened. Both things are true. If we look at celebrities, more celebrity examples of paradox, oh my God, there's so many. I can't even begin. But one that first comes to mind, I'm a 90s person, is Chris Farley. That is a magically bright light and a massive shadow, right? So he was a walking paradox. Michael Jackson was a walking paradox. Whitney Houston was a walking paradox. Prince was a walking paradox. Massive bright lights, significant shadow. What we say in my business is brighter the light, the bigger the shadow. Authenticity is literally the definition of paradox, because what we're doing in authenticity is we are claiming all parts of ourselves, all of it. It's like Noah's Ark. Every part of you gets to come on this ride. And those examples of paradox I just explained to you not only exist in the world around us, but they exist within us. And the interesting thing about our human ego is incapable of holding paradox. It has to be taught and trained to value it. In other words, it's not something that comes innately in the human package. It's something that we have to practice and learn how to hold. So I can always tell a highly evolved being by their ability to hold paradox. And this is not about ambivalence. This is not about indifference. This is more about ambivalence. Indifference is sort of turning a blind eye to things. Ambivalence is about the ability to see nuance. And that's the sign of a highly evolved being. But the truth is, in terms of healing, is we've got to be able to see the nuances in ourselves, because the ego wants to relegate us to either our shadow self, which is sort of I'm a piece of shit, not conscious, people that haven't done their work, or they want to jump to the other side for entitlement or a sense of superiority or a sense of grandiosity, right? The truth is everybody is both shadow and light. And authenticity is about taking these two paradoxical parts of yourself, beginning to understand that you're both a piece of shit and the shit at exactly the same time, and beginning to practice pulling those two parts of yourself together. And I help people practice this through emotional awareness, understanding their dark emotions and their more intuitive-based experiences, and beginning to become more flexible in their nervous system. Here's the thing, I do not teach intellectual awareness. I teach emotional awareness to help my clients begin to practice holding paradox, even if it's in their emotional experiences. Because here's the thing, you're only going to feel as good as you're willing to be able to experience your darker emotions. In other words, if you don't have a lot of emotional flexibility, not only are you not going to be able to practice authenticity and or be fully yourself, but you're never going to experience the broad spectrum of emotions. You can't expect to feel good until you're willing to feel it all. And you can't expect to be the greatest version of yourself until you've faced all or many of your demons. This is why this is so confusing, and that's why that question is so important. This also begins to pull us into one of the contradictions of the human ego, which is certainty. So in order for somebody to heal, you've got to really understand your relationship with what certainty means to you. And you've got to be willing to get out of there and explore a different way of looking at yourself. This is why when people are healing, if they've thought they're a piece of shit for their whole life, they have to consider the fact that they're an insanely gifted divine being. And that's very uncomfortable for them. Conversely, people that think they're the fucking cat's ass and have been entitled their entire life and, been held on a pedestal are going to have to face the fact that they are also a piece of shit. This is not easy work, but I promise you, your ability to hold paradox is the ticket to your freedom. It helps you build emotional flexibility, and it helps you access not only your kryptonite, but your superpowers, which are probably two of the most important things for you to know about yourself. All the answers you're ever going to need about yourself are already inside of you. My job is to help you remember that. I love you all so much. I'm so grateful for this platform, and I can't wait to keep learning and growing together. I'm going to be creating a workshop in the next month or so, and I will keep you posted on what that means. I'm still noodling it, but I just love you guys so much. Let's keep healing and growing together.